Hello mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this video I'm going to be teaching us how to cut and draft this one shoulder gown that has an asymmetric asymmetric neckline. So if this is something like, please stay tuned to the end of the video as I show you the step-by-step process on how to go about drafting and cutting. So now let's get right into the business of the day. So now I've gone ahead to place the horizontal lines for the front pattern, just as you can see. So this is the shoulder line and the chest line. To get your chest line is your bust divided by 6 plus 1.5, then 1 inch for shoulder slope, the bust point, the under bust, the front waist length. The front and back waist length is different. So from your waist you get your hip level. So the hip level I'm working with is about 9 inches, so that is your lower hip line. So you mark 2 inches upward to get your upper hip line. Do you understand? So you also get your shoulder to your new length. So when you get your new length, you take 3 inches away from it. Do you understand? Maybe you have 30, so minus 3, that's like 27. So then you also get your gown length, the gown length that you want to work with. Do you understand? So as usual, you place your shoulder measurements on the shoulder line and on the chest line, half of it. So the neck width I am working with for now is 3 inches, 1 inch for shoulder slope. You connect the points, so here you get the midpoint, come in by half of an inch, then you connect the points together to get your armhole, just as you can see. You mark half of your bust span on the bust point line, on the waistline and on the upper hip line. So then just go ahead and rule a straight line across, just as you can see. So the dart intake on the waistline is 0.5 inches. Do you understand? But if you want to contour the under bust, you can do that. But if you don't want to, you can just do it the normal way. So in this case, I'll contour the under bust by 0.75 on both sides, while on the waistline I marked about 0.5 inches on both sides. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect the points, just as you can see. Then I also connect it to the bust point line this way, just as you can see. Okay, so this is what we have. So we are going to be placing cut of your bust measurement on the chest line, just like this. You place quarter of your bust measurement, quarter of your under bust measurement plus the dart intake, quarter of your waist measurement plus the dart intake. Do you understand? So on the upper hip level and lower leg level, you place quarter of your hip measurement on it, and you also mark it at the gown length. But bear in mind that you're still going to do a new tightening, but we'll come to that point later. So just go ahead and connect all the points together, just as you can see. Just go ahead and connect it from the hip line to the waistline, from the waistline to the chest line this way, just as you can see. So it's a princess dart style. So now the neck depth I want to work with, not that I'm working with it, but for a guide I mark 3 inches for the neck depth. Do you understand? So now it's a princess dart. So now you get the midpoint of your armhole. So whatever I have for the midpoint of your armhole, you connect it to the bust point this way, just as you can see me do. So now you're going to tighten it. So I'm tightening it by 1 inch for a smaller bust. For a bigger bust, I'm tightening it by 1.5 inches or 2 inches or 1.5 inches. So now I'm going to extend this line outward by 1 inch so I can get the new armhole line, just as you see me do. Get your new armhole line this way. You know this style has a backs effect around the waistline. So now you determine how long you want the backs to be around below the waistline. So below the waistline I just marked about 3.5 inches. So I'm just going to close up this dart so that I can get the correct line for the back. So you connect it to the waistline this way. So this is the waistline this way. There's something we call waist snitching. So I'll be snatching the waist by 1 inch. So that's 1 inch divided by 4. That's 0.25. So I'm going to mark 0.25 on the waistline, then connect it back to the chest line and to the hip line. So this is if you want to snitch your waist. Do you understand? So I'm going to mark 1 inch for bust dart. So that's different between the front and back waistline, just as you can see. So now I'm going to be calculating the new tightening. So there's a calculation for the new tightening. So now I'm just going to go ahead and explain. So now let's say A is bust circumference plus 6 divided by 2. So the bust I have is about 36 plus 2. So I have about 19. So then the next thing is your hip measurement divided by 2 minus what you have in A. So let's say A, that is A. So the hip measurement is about 44 divided by 2, that's 22. 22 minus 19, that's 3 inches. So I'm going to use 3 inches to undo the new tightening. So now on the front pattern, I'm going to, at the side front, I'm going to be using 1 inch around the new length, and then I'll mark it on the gown length. So the remaining 2 inches I'm going to use for the new tightening for the back. So this gives you like this pencil gown effect. Do you understand? I'm not done drafting the front piece, but we'll still come back to it. Do you understand? So because of the neckline area, we're not done. So now let's move on to the back piece. So now for the back, I've gone ahead to mark the waistline, the shoulder line, chest line, the back waist length. Then you get your hip measurement, your waist to your hip line. You get it. So whatever you have, you go back 2 inches. So you measure your waistline from your waistline to your new length and to the gown length for the front. So whatever you have, you mark it for the back pattern. Do you understand? The back of the waistline, I marked about 0.75. So connect it to the upper hip line and connect it to the chest line this way. So next up, you are going to mark half of your shoulder measurement on the shoulder line and on the chest line. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a straight line across, just as you can see. So now I'm using 1 inch for the neck depth and 3 inches for the neck width. So 1 inch for shoulder slope. So you connect all the points together. So you get the midpoint here. Come in by half of 1 inch. Then you connect the points together to get your armhole, just as you can see. After the 0.75, you mark your nipple to nipple measurement, half of it. So then you add back the 0.75 so that you can mark it on the chest line and on the upper hip line, so that you can have a straight line. Do you understand? So I'm just going to retake that measurement there. So you connect it this way. So on both sides, I'm going to mark 0.5 inches on both sides for the waist tightening. I'm going to connect it to the hip line and to the chest line, just as you can see. I'm going to be placing quarter of the bust measurements, quarter of your waist measurement plus the dart intake. So here on the hip line, quarter of your hip measurement, that's it. That's your hip divided by 4. Then you mark it all the way to the gown length. Do you understand? So just go ahead and connect all the points together, just as you can see. Connect all the points together this way. So this is what we have. So at the waistline at the center back, you go up and down by 0.5 inches. Just as see me do. So you go up and down by 0.5 inches. Then you connect it this way. You are just eliminating excesses around the waistline. Do you understand? So you connect it this way, just as you can see. So this is what we have. We're going to do the new tightening for the back piece. So remember that I have 2 inches left. So at the side back, I'll mark 1 inch here, and at the center back, I marked 1 inch on the new length and on the gown length. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it this way, just as you can see. Can you see what I'm doing? So the center back, this is how you connect it. So from the lower hip line, you connect it this way using this curvy part of your ruler. You can see what I'm doing. You connect it this way using the curvy part of your ruler, like I said. So this is. I'm also using princess dart for the back. So you get the midpoint of the armhole. So you just connect it into the dart line that you took. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it this way, just as you can see. So this is what I have. I'm just trying to blend it into the dart line this way. I'm not done drafting, so I need a full front for the front piece and a full back for the back piece. So I'm going to go ahead and trace it on a pattern paper so that I can explain further. Do you understand? So I'm also just going to go ahead and label the parts, the back, the pattern. So I'll be cutting out the bottom part first. Do you understand? So remember that it is waist snitching for the front by 0.25 around the waist. So I'm also going to do that 0.25 waist snitching for the back piece. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect all the lines together, just as you see me do. Just connect it this way. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut the bottom part of the front pattern. So you make sure you close the darts before cutting. So I'll go ahead and cut off the front pattern just like you see me do. Then I'll also cut out the back. So for the upper part, I just need a full front for the two sides. So I'm just going to go ahead and also use my tracing wheel to trace it on another piece of paper so that I can have a full front. Do you understand? So now I have a full front for the front bodice, for the front pattern. So I'm just trying to use my paper tape to hold it in place to indicate that this is a full front, just as you can see. The reason for this full front basically is because of the design around the neck. So also the back, I also needed a full back. Yeah, so I'll be able to do the off shoulder thing, one shoulder thing around the back as well. So I have a full back and a full front, just as you can see. Now let's go ahead and craft out the design around the neckline area. So now I'm going to determine you can see I already marked the right and the left. So here below before the shoulder ending, I marked in 3.75 inward. So that's how wide the shoulder will be. So you need to also determine the length of the off shoulder. You might want to close your princess dart, but in this case I used about 3.5 inches for the cut off for the off shoulder. So instead of using this ruler, it was not giving me what I want, so I used a free hand at first. So if you look closely, I used a free hand at first, so then I went ahead to use the ruler to follow the free hand that I used, just as you can see. You can see what we have. So this is for the front, so I'm just going to trim off this part away, just as you can see, trim it off. So I'm just trying to open up this princess darts, just trying to cut off that excess away. But at the end of the day, I still went ahead to cut out the entire piece. I'll just make sure I cut out the entire piece, just as you see. I just cut everything out. So the major thing is that I needed you make sure you open your bust dart, you close your bust dart, you shape the lines by the side. So the main thing I needed for the front piece was the middle. Do you understand? I needed the middle actually, but part of the side front as well though. So I'm just cutting off the excesses, just as you can see. So guys, if you've not liked this video at this point, please kindly do so, and don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, comment, like and share, so you can see what we have now. So I'm just going to use my paper tape to hold this right side in place. This is my paper tape to hold these points in place. You can see what I'm doing. So we just want to craft out that design that is there. Do you understand? So now from the shoulder, you can choose to divide the shoulder part. You can divide the shoulder into two. Do you understand? So then I went, whatever I had, I think I marked around 1.25, then I was marking it. So when I got to this point, my hand extended, so it was getting wider. It's as if it was getting small, then it was getting bigger and bigger by the time I was extending my hand. So I'm just going to use my ruler just to make it look curvy or something. You can see what I have there. You can see. So now, because it's going to be on the sleeve, you need your basic sleeve. Yes, because part of this craft is going to be on your sleeve. So I need a basic sleeve instead of this paper that I want to use. So now I have my basic sleeve. So I'm just going to use my basic sleeve to explain further. So remember that around the shoulder area of the bodice, I took about 3.5 inches. So on the basic sleeve, I'm also going to mark about 3.5 inches on the basic sleeve. So I'm just trying to indicate the front piece of the basic sleeve. So I'm going to mark 3.5 inches that I took. So I'm going to mark that 3.5 inches there on the sleeve. So I'm just going to indicate 3.5 inches. So you indicate the 3.5 inches on the basic sleeve. So now I've marked the 3.5 inches. So I'm just going to put it side by side close to the basic bodice. Let me put it underneath it this way. So like this is what your sleeve will kind of look like. Do you understand? So the remaining part is what you will sew to your bodice. So let's say this is what we have. Do you get? So I'm just going to curve this part. So this part I'm curving is like we are going to be cutting it out. We are going to be cutting it off. Do you understand? So now I'm going to use my paper tape to hold it down. So I'm going to use the paper tape to hold it down this way. So I'm just going to be extending it maybe by 1.5 inches or 2 inches. Then I'm extending the line. Then I'm just going to indicate how long that, because it has this pointy effect around the design, this cape, let's call it the cape. So now it's not supposed to be slanted this way, but I'm going to be using my hand to just give it a blend feel. You understand? You can see now I blended it and it makes sense. So you get a new pattern paper, you place it underneath it, then trace this collar. Let's say this collar or this cape, you trace it on that new pattern paper. Do you understand? You are not going to be cutting it off, you are going to be tracing it on a new pattern paper. So by the time you are almost sewing, when you've added your sleeve, you join it together so everything can make sense. So now for the back pattern as well. So you know we came down by 3.5 inches on the right side. So I'm going to do the same on the right side of the back pattern, come down by 3.5 inches this way. So the same shoulder I use for the front, I'll use for the back, that's 3.75. Then I'll connect it to that 3.5. So before that, the center back, I marked 2 inches downward. So I'm going to use my hand to trace it in. You understand? So this is what we have. So yes, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the excess. All this middle part will be cut off. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the entire back pattern, just as you see me do. So we just go ahead and continue cutting. We don't have to rush the process. So basically this is what we have for the back. Like I said, we must have joined the sleeve, the bodies together to be able to add that cape around the shoulder, around the neckline area. So now by the time you are sewing, make sure you close the bottom part of the darts of the front and back, because the dress was not indicating that. So just close the darts. Make sure you close your darts when cutting on your fabric. You understand? For the front and the back piece, make sure you close your darts. So this is what we have for the front piece and the back piece. So guys, we have come to the end of this tutorial. Don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, comment, like and share, and don't forget to trace out the collar around the neckline area out alongside with your sleeve. Thank you guys for watching.